Welcome to the channel and welcome to Humankind. Bringing back an oldie but goodie. We're going to be playing this game with a few parameters slash handicaps. Biggest one, expansion. Not looking to expand across the entire globe. Want to keep as many of the 9 AI players as possible in the game. Really want to explore the relationships that exist and evolve through the different eras. Second handicap is going to be on the relationship choices that we make as a player with the other players in the game. Don't want to be making deals or alliances with empires or nations or leaders with whom we have a distrust level with. Really want to focus alliances with kingship leveled relationships, people that are tolerant. We can trade resources and things like that, share maps, whatever it may be. But alliances are really going to be reserved with those with whom we have kingship level relationships with. And as you guys know, those will change as the eras go on, depending on the type of nation that we pick, whether it be an estate, which obviously defaults all relationships to kingship, militaristic, etc., etc. And with those two big ones, that's how we're gonna play the game. And finally, a slight role-playing aspect, depending on where we are on the map, is gonna dictate slightly what nations we're gonna pick. And finally, the world that we're gonna be in. So the world it's on a huge map, so we're going to have all 10 nations playing. We're going to be playing on the Empire difficulty just to give ourselves a slight challenge. Don't really want the AI to run away with things artificially, and I feel like Empire is probably the right spot where they're not necessarily going to fall behind so much. They won't be bullied as much either, but in sense of the world, we're also going to ramp up the resources amount to abundant. That's both strategic and luxury. We really want trade to happen, and normally I play with scarce resources, especially on the strategic side, to allow those areas of conflict. But in this case, I don't really want that. I think the abundant level is going to be perfectly fine for us, as it allows for nations to be on a smaller scale, like very few territories, but still have access to some strategic resources. But the biggest one in terms of the world is that we're going to have 2 continents, 1 new world, which means that all 10 players are going to spawn on the first continent, right? And then there's going to be a new world that's completely empty, minus any independent people that may spawn as we start exploring that world or that side of the world. So that's going to lead to some interesting, or hopefully lead to some interesting dynamics. So without further ado, let's jump right in to Humankind's first 2 eras. Now you'll notice in the first part, this game is all vanilla except for one thing. I added one mod that kind of helps with the pacing of the game, especially when the AI is at a higher level. So you'll notice here in the Neolithic era, we have a 2-star requirement as opposed to the vanilla 1-star requirement. So we have to achieve at least 2 stars before we can advance into the ancient era. And then every era after that, you have to have achieved 10 stars instead of the normal 7. So 3 more star requirement helps limit the AI from barreling through the civilizations or the cultures that are selectable. We kind of want to be like first, second, or third in selecting, so that we have our choice of nations. Again, we're already handicapping ourselves in the sense of who we're going to pick relative to the terrain that's around us and the story that's being told throughout the game. So we want to be close to, have our pick. We want to be able to pick from a decent field, a sized field, versus only having 2 or 3 available to us because we were the last ones to reach it. So that star requirement should help limiting the AI in that capacity.
push humankind.
All right, well, let's go.
Another day, another dawn of humankind. It is time to finish breakfast, give a
So we
rousing
see
speech,
right away
and leap into the future.
that we are in a pretty heavy desert, savanna type area. There's a slight river to our north, but this looks fairly barren. We have a gold resource to our north and an unknown deposit of something to our south. So I'm thinking we're going to probably develop into the Egyptians right off the bat. So let's see how true that is. I mean, unless we find some lush land or coast that forces us into like a Phoenician build, we'll see.
I see where this is
So our
going.
civilization from very humble beginnings. I mean, here we are fighting deer upon finding food. So let's see if this deer attacks us. Normally they do. Oh, well, I guess this deer has gone into hiding, and I'm not even going to worry about it. All right. Great. Well, looks like that popped another food resource, though, as it sent us back. We'll take that. All right, let's go cross this river. All right, we have more berries in this desert plains. And a lot more desert land. We're going to split our tribesmen up so that we can cover more of the map. And let's see. All right, so we got some mountainous area to the east that looks a little more fertile than what we have here.
Even
But
those
our
who
people are
have
going to continue
disappeared may have
exploring. We
done
find
something
some
very clever.
ancient curiosities that lead us into some science. Very nice. And we're going to send this guy up north. Aha. We find
It's one of those moments that
intense
make you
wildlife.
feel like a small thing on a wondrous planet.
And a natural wonder that may truly dictate where we're going to set up our outposts, as natural wonders are a very nice buff to our stuff. So we continue on forward, trekking along, finding more science and a lot more wildlife. We're gonna really battle in for our hunter star. As we know, we need 2, not 1, to advance into the next era. So seeing all these animals makes a lot of sense. And there we go. The deer actually attacked us, I guess because it had line of sight on us, so it came at us. We have a higher ground, so with the high ground we gain a combat modifier that helps us. And we're going to take the food on that narrative event so that we have now 2 tribesmen to handle this woolly mammoth. And that woolly mammoth is going to give us a lot of food and influence. Woolly mammoths are impressive. And you see there the game, if we auto-resolved that, we would have lost our tribesmen. But let's see if our people can strategically fight this woolly mammoth. Hopefully in this valley here that's created, this woolly mammoth will come up and attack us. And yes, so the woolly mammoth has trapped itself in the valley, affording us the high ground, that combat modifier, and oh, poor guy went deeper into the valley, which has further trapped him and his demise. That helps us, though, significantly, as we get 20 food, which gives us a new tribesman, and 20 influence, which should allow us to set up our first outpost. We're going to set up more on the high ground here while we try to get more food, more influence from this deer. Not as much, but something. And the deer has sat itself in the valley, so we're actually going to go for it. Despite being on the high ground, we are weakened from our first battle, so our tribesmen are actually hurt. We're actually not going to attack it. Yeah, we're going to defend here, let the deer come at us, and we win that. And we're going to take that sanctuary out to get the 5 food. That will give us another population there. A lot of science here, so let's split up this tribe. I think holding 2 is enough to combat another woolly mammoth, but this one guy can go trekking along, finding more science curiosities, and with that one we unlock our knowledge star. So nice. We're as you can see here, we're doing well with the fame, but we're not really going to focus on our score as much. Again, we're playing this more for the story as opposed to winning or losing. But for now, we're doing pretty well, and we're going to take the observers
Together.
modifier there so that we can have 1 science per population in our future settlements. Here the deer has set itself up for failure. And we will continue to explore. And we can see there's a border there. Orange
A first ransack. See the
outpost has
sights,
been established
appreciate the local
to
culture,
our
and take anything that's
northwest.
not nailed down.
Let's establish our first outpost. And again, we want this territory here. We really want this natural wonder to be ours. So we're going to establish it there. And with 44 influence, you know, that sets us up pretty well to get another outpost.
What's over there?
Our tribesmen should be able to handle this woolly mammoth. As you see, if we auto-resolve that, it would have led to 1 death, but we would have won. Let's see if we can do better than the AI. So woolly mammoth has set itself up in that valley, the forested valley right there. It's kind of like a nook. If we can attack it from either side, I think he's trapped there. Yeah, because that's a cliff. So, alright, well, he's moved away, giving himself a little more space. But that is our spoils of war right there. And that gives us our Hunter Star. Very nice. And we have gotten the Growth Star as well. So, yeah, I think storytellers are far... I think in this case, especially because we're in a desert, we may need to take the farmer's one. Food is going to be at a premium for us. And with the Hunter Star, I think it makes sense. You know, we're warriors. We have proven that. But without a first outpost established yet, we're not even going to pick a culture. It would take some time. And here's our first outpost, and even that one is going to take 2 turns. So we might as well just keep exploring, keep building up what we can, especially in the ways of influence, since we have this mammoth here. Let's see if we can, again, save ourselves from the 1 tribesman dying here. If we... Well, it looks like a similar setup the woolly mammoth has set up in that forested valley. So we're going to have a pincer move, in a sense, to take him out. And there he goes to that spot. So a very similar move that he made. And here's our known world. So we also see that blue is to our north from our first outpost. This river may actually help us, and this river might actually lead us to our actual city, our first city at least. Like, this area is probably better suited from a growth standpoint. But we did lock the natural wonder, so that's good for us. And this area over here looks quite fertile as well, and might very well be the east coast of our continent. And so there's a nice settlement there from a sense of food and production. So yeah, this spot here is going to be our spot. The 1016 is yeah, that's a winning location. We're going to take the 2 food on the outpost because, again, food will certainly be at a premium for us.
By building an outpost,
So any food that we can get
territory
is going to be great.
This easy. The trick, of course, is
It
keeping...
looks like a nation, 2 nations have advanced. The Carlins and the Zhao are gone. And like I said, I think the Nubians might actually make more sense than the Egyptians because, again, if we look at our landscape, there are quite a lot of deposits, luxury deposits, and strategic deposits that are fairly close to us, and that's going to help our economy a lot. At 5 extra gold per deposit, I am thinking that that might be the way to go. Yeah, it's hard to ignore that, especially as we continue to explore. There's just going to be more. I think, yeah, I think the Nubians might be the better play for us. And again, being in a desert makes sense. So let's pick the Nubians. Let's do that.
Ah, the challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you. Your markets will be the birthplace of your famously canny merchants, who will in turn provide the means to equip your famously effective archers.
So our tribesmen are quite happy with the development of our culture into the Nubians. Now we need to decide which area is best for our first city, our capital city. I am thinking it's around here. I think this area is best suited because we can attach the adjacent territory here, and I just think there's more food here. So let's build Kerma in that spot, despite the natural wonder being to our east. I think Kerma is just better suited in this part of the desert.
A first city constructed. Walls,
And we should
roofs.
really amp up our
the
influence
luxuries of
generation. So we're going to start with pottery first and then continue exploring while our city constructs what it needs to construct. So our Nubian scouts have handled wildlife threats, everything from bears to the remnants of some woolly mammoths that are still lingering from a previous age, the Neolithic age, and progress has moved along quite quickly. Our scouts are warriors thanks to the advancements in the Neolithic era where they were hunting animals, so we are well equipped for this early part of the ancient era. But now our young nation faces new challenges where we have to decide which direction we're going to go in terms
Why
of our
was
civics
this
and
even a
culture.
question?
First,
keep it simple.
we're going to go with
We've
our
been here.
natural
It's our
right
place.
under our founding myths, which will allow us to further our influence generation. And under our legitimacy tree, we're going to go with customary
these are the
laws
shows.
so that we're able to expand a
luck,
little
they'll prefer
faster.
thinking.
Should go nice with our natural right civic. Here we started meeting our neighbors, and our first nation that we're meeting is the Zhao, and we can see that we're at a kingship ideological proximity with them because they're aesthete, but also their leader is pleasant with us as well. So this will, from a role-playing aspect, allow us to engage in multiple treaties. I think the first one we should do, we should, get to know the world. So they have accepted our share maps proposal, and here we can see a little more of the world, especially the eastern seaboard that we have. We're very close, just a territory away. And it's going to probably prove to be an important trade hub in the future. We've also met the Egyptians, and notice how they are hesitant towards us. And this leader here, Sun Tzu, is cruel, willing to use his population in any means necessary. This may come back to influence some of our decisions in the future. We're also looking to expand relations with our Zhao neighbors, and we agree to a non-aggression pact. And we also meet the Bantu, who are hesitant towards us and have a tolerant ideological proximity towards us.
1,000 welcomes.
And also meeting the Carolans. Hesitant towards us as well as tolerant. Let's see if they'll trade maps with us. Ooh, they are willing to, but we're not going to pay for those maps just yet. And so let's see if the Bantu will... Oh, they just outright denied us. So not all negotiations go as smoothly as our first. But these negotiations should go fairly smoothly as our Nubian population desires more luxury resources. So makes sense that we trade with our closest neighbors, not only ideologically close, but proximity close as well, as we share a border.
More than you.
Let's start our only trading luxuries treaty. And let's see if our new neighbors are kind to us as well, as we meet the Harapans right here and the Olmecs, who represent a kingship to us and are pleasant. So they'll probably agree to share map. Yes, they do. So we have even more of the ancient world discovered. And we also meet the Phoenicians, who are currently, we'll call them the superpower in the ancient world right now, as they are in the lead, fame-wise. And the Mycenaeans. Cannot forget about this militaristic nation. But with all those folks met, there are a lot of exciting things happening in our nation. First, we are the first to discover writing. Second, we have established our next city. And third, our nation attacks another nation for fear of taking its territory. But it was on neutral territory, so no full-out war just yet. But the Mycenaeans certainly are not happy with that. And our little nation keeps trucking along, discovering new natural wonders very close to our current borders, and the presence of independent people. People who do not want to be under the constraints of these new nations developing all around them. And they just do not take kindly to that. The Nubians are attacked after ransacking a tiny outpost just outside of the natural wonder. And the Nubians won't fight. They're going to retreat because those independent people come with weapons and retreat again as much as they can until, oh, another ransack opportunity. But then they're attacked again. And instead of fighting back, they retreat yet again and find yet another encampment and are chased away again. But the Nubians don't learn, or they're resilient, and they go and ransack another encampment, this time winning out,
and troublesome things.
And they continue plowing forward, ransacking yet another for money and gold. And the Nubian army is the one that establishes a new outpost just outside of the natural wonder. Things are going very well for the Nubians at this point. A lot of exploration, abilities to overcome independent peoples, and still fighting against wild animals. But then something happens. Something they did not see coming at all.
I would not put myself
Their
in
friends,
this
the
position
Zhao,
the consequences.
claimed a territory right in
If you seek
between
to regain my trust,
their
there
two
must be a
cities.
sacrifice. You have
The
the clothes
Nubians
of a ruler
demanded this
behind,
territory,
child.
and the Zhao said no. The people were looking to the leadership of the Nubians to see what they would do. And eventually, they chose the relationship over that piece of land. But those expansionist ambitions were still there, not only in the leadership, but also amongst the population of the Nubians. And that would be the driving force into the next era. and why a certain culture rose up above the others to take over
Some might trouble
the zeitgeist
stability.
of the former Nubian Empire.